The Holy Spirit is free to do what he's going to do, and those same means of grace are the way he chooses to do them.
Yeah, it's a great start because I think about George Whitefield as well, how famous he is as, maybe some would call him a revivalist, but he was one credited, humanly speaking, as one going around all over, particularly the United States in the 1700s, mid to late 1700s, and as an evangelist and a traveling preacher he preached to 10,000+ at a time, usually, and without any microphone amplification, just remarkable. But he was tireless for this, and yet it's known, or at least it's written about in his biographies, that he never saw anything quite like the beginning of his ministry when he was in his 20s, right? And he preached into his 60s. So we're talking think about him in his
almost
50s
60s,
and never having seen quite what he saw in his 20s. And yet what's interesting is the remark from this book was that far from being discouraged, Whitefield regarded the variation of how God worked throughout his ministry as in full accord with the workings of divine grace, that because he trusted God and his sovereign power, he would faithfully do his part, if you will, his thing, his part, his preaching, going to new places, going to unreached areas of America, for example, but he wouldn't always see the same thing because he knew he wasn't producing something of his own power as if to schedule his own revivals.
Spirit dependent is so important. In other words, we don't make revival happen. The Holy Spirit of his own sovereign execution is the one behind true revival.